Well, hello there. Hi. Um, so this is like kind of, I guess, a review or at least a bit of a retrospective on my first 50 days experience with Animal Crossing. So I have two streams up on this channel. I think it's at least two or three of the first day or two of Animal Crossing, which will, if you know, which will highlight further exactly how much of a noob I was coming into this, and I even bothered trying to stream it with the how the time locks and all that go. But yeah, this was my first Animal Crossing game. The only thing I knew about it was that the likes of the Tom Nook memes and thinking he was a complete asshole due to the memes and all that. Just people going on about that kind of thing, and some like cutesy stuff with certain animals. And is Amiibo Festival is the other Animal Crossing game where it's like a mini Mario Party kind of thing. I've seen Giant Bomb do a video of that before, so I kind of got a bit of the aesthetic from that, and like got wind of like some of the turnip stuff and that kind of thing from that particular game. But other than that, I came into this basically completely blind. So it was certainly a thing, and the slow aspect of the game at the beginning took quite a bit of getting used to. With the time locks and having certain upgrades, especially the important upgrades early on, to actually make further progress, being locked behind, having to wait until 5 a.m. the next day, and uh, how how the game almost makes you want to time travel in those early days. It makes you want to look into that whole thing of like, even just like, I can just imagine several people who would have their first experience of Animal Crossing, being like looking up like, so do I have to wait for real time to come? Do I have to is there any way to speed up the process and that kind of thing? So it's very tough coming into the game, I think, having not played anything like it before and being used to, I don't know, like, I don't know if Minecraft is a fair comparison, but just having that open-ended thing of being like, come do this and have at it and all that, whereas this is very like, the end game is kind of have at it and have your own fun, but the very beginning it's very, very contained and very, very tightly controlled as to what your experience will be in the first day or two. Um, to its detriment at some points, but I can see why Nintendo would do it, and it might have helped me in the end. I think it helped me get used to the game, helped me maybe not burn out too quick on it or run off, do something else, other than like learning certain skills and learning a certain part of the game before going off and doing my own thing. Like those first few days of just having the tents and just not having a shop and having the terrible access, not only having access to one certain part of the island being blocked off by the river and all that kind of thing. I guess I guess it's tough to think, seeing as it's the experience I got and I've enjoyed my experience overall. I guess it's tough to see anything else. I guess it's tough to not worry about if it was more open ended at the beginning that it would like change fundamentally how I feel about the game and how the game works. I mean, of course it would. The Animal Crossing hook seems to be a lot of that. Kind of almost annoyance isn't the correct word, but just that having to overcome those obstacles and almost do that kind of almost time grind and that kind of thing to move forward is a weird pull for Animal Crossing. So it's a very interesting dynamic to have all round, I suppose. Um, but like once things start opening up and you start like you donate the fish and all that and donate stuff to the museum and push forward from there, get bladders coming in, start donating to him in his tent, start building out your house, your villagers start getting their houses, the two villagers that come with you at the beginning of their house, and you can like start going to on the Mystery Island tours and all that kind of thing to get uh, your next set of villagers to come, and then you have to sort out the houses for all that. You're kept busy quite a bit, and then you have to then like that mission structure of like for the three houses you build after from the three guests you get from the Mystery Tour Islands, having to build specific DIY recipes and all that. Like this is about like what 5 days in or something like that. having to build all that and learn all those mechanics and get some new recipes and see how all that works is pretty neat, I think. And is a pretty nice way to start accelerating the pace of the game from that very, very slow burn that it had in the beginning. So, it works out quite well. It makes me wonder quite a bit, like, how easy it would be to, like, I suppose if you've already played an Animal Crossing game, you kind of know what you're in for with that, so you might be looking forward to that slow burn, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I was starting, like, say in, like, 3-4 years from now, there is the next Animal Crossing. I'm not sure how I would feel in terms of being like, okay, well, I already know how to do all this stuff, and I already know what the beginning of the game entails, so could I move this along any quicker? And that kind of thing. I don't know how that would affect me. I guess I'll find out in the future, but I think the way the game's set up is good for first timers at least. So, you know, series veterans do know what they're getting anyway. So if you're a noob, that, you know, any Animal Crossing game seems to be a good one to jump in on, and this seems to work out really well in terms of that. The I think the release date towards the end of March is what, 7 weeks now, so it was like 10 days left in March. It was like the 21st or something, right, that this released. Having that added pressure of like sorting out your island and wanting to expand it out and doing all the daily missions, but also having like this community knowledge of like certain fish are leaving and they won't be back until September or December, and not knowing whether you want to play the game then, so you kind of want to catch them now, and then having the issue of catching the black bass and the sea bass and all that instead of the string fish and that kind of thing before they left at the end of March. Didn't add to my fun and was probably my least favorite part of playing Animal Crossing so far. So I don't think, you know, the release date, it's rare that a release date for a game would affect how I feel about it so much, but it really does feel that that kind of releasing it towards the end of any month, especially say March into April, where there seem to be a lot of big changes happening with certain bits of nature and wildlife and that kind of thing, was a bit awkward. So I spent ages trying to catch the stringfish and that, and like just crafting bait for like a whole day, and then trying to go and catch it at the spot that, and I forget the other fish that you had to catch. It was one at the river mouth and one at the cliff top, but like going through the process of trying to find a mystery island that was set up best for those kind of to just catch those fish, or just running back and forth with fish bait to the spots that they would frequently spawn at, was really awkward. I found, like, super awkward. So it sucked, basically. It really sucked, and I did not enjoy that part of Animal Crossing at all. I don't mind, you know, things leaving at the end of, at the end of months and that kind of thing. Excuse me. So it just feels like it didn't give you enough time for anyone that bought it at launch to really enjoy that part, because I've enjoyed the end of April. I've enjoyed like being able the chance to catch things throughout the month. Although I guess we'll talk about Bunny Days soon with that, but yeah, like that aspect was annoying at the start, and then, like, you know, we did hit April and then we got Bunny Day, which kind of set things back. Like, I had collected quite a bit. I'd done like quite a bit of traveling, and I was like kind of grinding Nook miles myself. I enjoyed grinding Nook miles myself, seeing as it felt like there was going to be no end to that. So seeing as I was doing it myself, it felt like a fun time. So I had plenty of Nook miles. I had gone to plenty of islands. I had learned the community trick of the digging the holes to get the 8 bits of materials and stuff out of rocks and that kind of thing. So I was well stocked on iron, stone, and clay. Quite a bit well stocked to the point that I was giving iron to gifts for people who are struggling to get iron. Um, so that side of it, like whenever you're left to your own devices and doing that, is great. I don't mind the grind there because it's like a self-inflicted grind. I mean, I suppose going after the fish that we're leaving is also a self-inflicted grind because you're always going back to in September and all that. But I guess it's kind of picking on FOMO, fear of missing out of catching everything that's there at that point, and being like, who knows how things could be in September. Like, as well, like the game came out right as the lockdown was happening in Ireland, and lockdowns were starting to happen across the world, and that kind of thing too. So Animal Crossing was a great escape from that part of the world too, so that kind of colors my views on the first week or two, as I was getting used to this new world at the moment. So having the stress, the kind of self-inflicted stress, but also the Nintendo time schedule stress of catching those particular bits of wildlife before they piss off for a while, wasn't very welcome, and it kind of turned me off for the game for a bit, and I needed to take a break after I caught the fish that I needed, and I didn't do much on my island for quite a while because of that. It really made me not want to fish. Like, even I think today might even be the first day I've properly gone fishing, except for the fishing tournament, which I will get back to in a bit over some friendship stuff and that. But that was one of the annoying aspects of the game. And then Bunny Day, as I was saying, Bunny Day came in and took all the materials away. Bunny Day very well hated across the entire community, I think, with the eggs and not getting in the way. And it's a well run over thing if you've followed any community stuff. But to cut it short, just people were just really angry that, like, you hit a rock and you might get like 3 or 4 rock eggs and miss out on a load of iron and that kind of thing. And for anyone that was maybe starting the game like a week late, you're basically fucked over. Like, I had a friend that joined in the middle of Bunny Day, or even at the beginning of Bunny Day, so like they couldn't collect up certain materials as quick as I could do whenever I had like 10 days to do it before Bunny Day popped up. And then running concurrently with Bunny Day the whole Sakura season and catching the cherry blossom stuff and getting the cherry blossom recipes was a whole lot of fun, and I enjoyed that so much. I kind of miss them, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not collecting up enough petals, which could be tied down to another reason to hate the game, which is the constant text boxes to say you've done such a thing. Like, there's only so much that I can take you've caught a sea bass, or is it a C plus line. And I mean, that was like 5 times, especially whenever I was trying to catch the fishies, the rare fishies, and constantly getting a sea bass. So kind of wish there was a way to speed that up. It's my qualms are pretty similar to the ones that are echoed quite a bit in the community of those text boxes taking up stuff that I don't need to see the same jokes over and over again. That if I catch a petal, the cherry blossom petal, I didn't need to be like, oh, you just caught a petal and all that stuff. Like, just let me get on with it and go and catch another one, and don't slow the game down even further. Pick up the pace a bit and not keep it too slow, because it is too slow whenever that kind of thing is going on. And then, stuff like not being able to multi-craft items. Like, say you've got 10 manila clams in your backpack, that you can't just craft 10 fish bait. You have to do it one by one by one and go through all those menus. If you're at the dodos, I don't know how many times I've accidentally pressed B on a menu, or maybe press B twice to like accidentally back out of a menu whenever I'm trying to get to fly to a friend's island. And I've already gone through like 4 or 5 selection processes to get to that particular menu. And I've either accidentally selected the wrong thing, I need to back out, or just accidentally backed out anyway. So now I have to go to like, oh, well, okay, I'll see you in a bit then. And then you have to go through the entire process again of setting up, going through that list of 4 or 5 questions just to get to it, and not having a way to just skip through the dialogue that you've read a lot. And it's not even that the dialogue's bad, but whenever it's repeated ad nauseum, it's no good. There's no dialogue in the world that could survive through that. So and I realize that they're trying to build the charm of the villagers and all that and that kind of thing, but I don't think speeding things up and being able to skip through all that and skip through, say, animations of catching things or animations of crafting things and to be able to multi-craft items and that kind of thing would deter from the aesthetics of the game and the atmosphere and that. I don't think it would detract at all from it. I think it would be just fine. So it's you know, just part of the usual thing of like these little niggles that can go into big niggles with Nintendo products, you know, that kind of take away from the perfection that some of the other stuff is, because this is probably one of the best sandboxes I've ever played in. Like, just going around doing what I want to do, catching fish whenever I want to, chopping my trees whenever I want to. Now that I've reached an end game of having a 5-star island and that kind of thing, like being able to focus on other stuff that I want to do up. Like, I want to do up my house, so like my living room, which you saw like a few minutes ago, there is still a lot of work I want to do here. Like, I've done some renovations. I had like different stuff in this room. I haven't fully changed it out yet because I was concentrating on the outside of the island, and also I still don't have like the kind of tables that I want and that kind of thing, which is obviously, you know, another community complaint and that kind of thing. But so like the living room is a bit of a mess right now, but at least that is something I can still work towards in my own time, which is just fine. It's, you know, in my own time is perfect, really. Like I've decorated this room up into being like a little kind of music studio with like a little bed to sleep in if I'm working late on like my music recording, that kind of thing. You know, I really like that. I really like the room, and I really look forward to building out this music room into something cooler and that kind of thing. Like, I like the wallpaper. I like what I've been able to get for that particular room. You know, it's really quite nice. I think as well, like, I've got a lot of open space inside the house just because I've been storing my turnips in here, but I'll get on to the turnips again in a bit while I go through this tour for a bit of a critic's break. But yeah, this is like the bathroom. I've got a lot of stuff I want to do here. I've got a sink in that I need to put back in, but it's a start. You know, I've got my spotlights on me while I sit on the toilet, which is nice. I'll change all that around at some point and get things a bit more centered so they're not blocking doors and stuff. It's still very much a work in progress in the house after 8 weeks. I've got like other stuff in like to put in my bedroom and that too. So, you know, it's, as I say, it's a work in progress, and this is like the only bed that I wanted to put in because I only have the log bed, the wooden block bed, and the simple wooden bed for crafting, and this is the only other bed I've ever had the chance to buy. So after 50 odd days, so it's been a bit awkward on that. I really like some of the cool recipes, like say like this wallpaper that I got from Celeste, and the floor that I also got from Celeste, and that, and the someone I know also got like the floor to match this, to match the wallpaper with the stars and that. And I've seen other people with like other kinds of starry wallpaper that's like purple and stuff. And I really like some of the Celeste recipes, and some of those like extra flashy recipes are really, really cool. So, you know, the breadth of recipes and the breadth of certain items is quite amazing. This is like my little game room that I've created here too. Kind of wish that the pool table had more interactivity, even if just movement, like the foosball table. But I suppose there's not too much that you can ask for. Same with the fighting machine thing. I wish there was more interactivity with that, but that is that basically for the house. So I just wish I could get like more tables and that kind of thing. It's something I'm really lacking. Like, I've got a lot of things in my storage. I have a few tables here that I want to sort out. I got the where is it? This inflatable sofa was like one of the first things a friend gave me, and so like I'm kind of keeping that, and hopefully I can do something with that again at another point. What color studio spotlight that was? Where is this other table? Or is it still in my inventory? Oh yeah, I got a rat and low table and that kind of thing. So, I just got that today from a balloon. So, things are progressing with tables a bit, but you know, not too much. It's raining on the island today too. But yeah, recipes and that. I love like all the different types of fences you can get. I don't think I've got all the fences. We only made the realization, myself and a friend yesterday, that like there's fences we haven't come across yet that we both seem to have like 2 fences that we haven't had a chance to buy from the Nook Miles vendor. So we've got that to sort out. Yeah, so like I've spent a lot of time building up this part of the island in the past 2 weeks after spending a lot of time just grinding out other parts to get up to like KK Slider and that, but now like I've reached 5 stars from just planting stuff and that. And I don't even have like all my flowers too, so it was almost too easy to get to 5 stars. I want to rework this into like a proper playground area / activity center / fairground, so a lot of work like this is just really haphazardly thrown, which is a shame, but it'll all be part of that like slow my own personal slow burn into things. I think that's the thing I'd like. Like I don't like having a slow burn enforced upon me, but I'm able to do a slow burn myself. So, you know, like, it would be nice to not have to deal with that, I guess. But yeah, this is my little, like, cherry blossom picnic area, which is super nice to have, that I built out. And from some of the cherry blossom recipes and just some other things that I bought and crafted and that kind of thing. Olive flounder, nice. I'm trying to catch, like, another few big fish. I've caught, like, a lot of barreled knife jaw today. It's kind of interesting to be back fishing again for the first time in a while and taking that break, like that self-imposed break, which is fine, you know, because there's still other stuff to do in the game now that I've completed everything else to do for Tom Nook. You know, I can just relax and enjoy and that kind of thing, you know. But I'd say my most enjoyable experience so far has been the community aspect of. The only thing I've been doing like as a wider community thing is using the turnip calculators. So I've been, there's a lot of metagaming involved, I think, with Animal Crossing. I've talked before about how the game almost makes you want to push to time travel and that kind of thing. But I haven't done that, but what I have done is use the turnip calculators to try and calculate what my turnips are going to be for the week. Try and guess how much I should buy. I've been buying my turnips anyway and hoping that a friend would have good nip prices for the week. So, I guess I haven't been metagaming too much with that, but at the same time, you know, I'm just making sure that to see if I am going to get good prices or not. I've only had like, I've had 2 weeks so far of large spikes, so it's how I was able to like build out my house quite quickly, and that is by getting a good few times, let's say, buying them at like 100 and selling at 450 plus. So I was able to make, how much did I make in profit so far with my nips? It should be in here somewhere. Probably on down right. Go ahead, be shellfish. Dream house, hoard of good things in store. Should be here, right? Okay, I'm reaching nearly 1 million bells spent. No more loan repayments with that. Yeah, cornering the stock market. So I need to make another 5 million profit. But yeah, so I've made 4 million in profit so far from the bells, which really helped with a lot of my the loan payments. So it's basically what did get all my loan repayments done. I hadn't done a lot of Tarantula Island. I hadn't done any Tarantula Island, actually. I had done a lot of fish catching and that kind of thing to sell for that, especially whenever CJ came around to buy the fish. I feel like I haven't seen him forever too, which is another part of the slow burn, I guess, that I don't particularly enjoy. But yeah, so I like getting involved with my friends and kind of trying to piss around with the game mechanics and break the economy with friends. I've got other friends that do the whole thing of like going to Reddit and getting a dodo code from someone who's like, hey, my turnips are 600. Feel free to come and like. I've seen people like charge people to come on their island and be like, you know, you have to drop like 100,000 bells or whatever, if not even other stuff. Whereas some other people just like let their island be open and then people leave them gifts anyway. I'm not really about that. I don't want gifts from my friends for that sort of thing. If you have something for me, like, you know, feel free to give it to me. But I don't like that kind of metagaming of just being like, you know, getting together as a whole worldwide thing and like everyone traveling to like this one person's island just because they're one bell short of the absolute maximum that the game's algorithm allows for selling bells. You know, it's not my thing. I'm not really complaining about other people doing that. Time traveling, I'm a bit against, but you know, again, it's I guess it's your own thing. So you know, it's your own game. You know, you play it however you want. I think speeding things up too fast would ruin Animal Crossing for me, so it's definitely not for me, and that's where like the slow burn isn't the worst thing in the world for me, and why it doesn't completely ruin the game for me, just because there is a forced slow burn. But I think speeding it up just I don't see what I could get out of the game if I sped it up like that. So yeah. But I don't mind having friends being messaging being like, hey, my nips are selling for like 400 today, come and sell them. So it's been nice traveling back and forth with friends and that. So that's one aspect that I haven't minded, and trading fossils and that too with friends. Haven't done that too much lately, I think, because we've all like stacked out on fossils and are only like 1 or 2 pieces away from completing our museums and that kind of thing. But you know, and speaking of friends and that brings me on to my next major detracting point on the game, which is the lack of stuff that you could do whenever your friends are over on your island. Not being able to move any furniture whatsoever except for in your house, as long as nobody else is in your house. And not being able to place anything outside, not being able to move it, not being able to like work together to design stuff together. Combined with the absolutely atrocious thing of the game having to go through like 30 seconds to a minute of someone coming to your island and having to watch the animations of the coming and them having to watch the animations of flying over, and that kind of stuff is my most hated aspect of the game. It really dampens wanting to play with friends and wanting to have friends visit and wanting to visit friends. I don't like visiting friends with it because I feel like a burden. And it's annoying to me sometimes just because we want to get stuff done together. And I'd leave my island open a lot more often if I didn't have to be like, you know, if I didn't have to say if I was chatting to to a villager or to Tom Nook, that I didn't have to quit out quickly. Or that I didn't have to exit my phone even to let people on the island, just so I could watch this cutscene of like, oh, this person's approaching, let's go and watch this screen and see their plane slowly get closer to the green light on the little animation on the screen. It's like the most backwards online friendship thing around, and then combine that with just not really being able to really to do any interaction with each other whatsoever, other than like showing them around the aesthetics and of what you currently have, and needing them to leave if they give you, like, even if they come and give you something. Okay, I can kind of get it if they want to lock people out from collecting fish that other people have caught and bugs that other people have caught, and making it super easy for like someone that maybe caught like 5 of a certain thing in the Southern Hemisphere to be like, okay, I'm going to just drop these off on your island. I kind of get that. But I would much rather Nintendo, I could understand if they limited that out and not allowed you to place or lift animals if someone else was on your island. as long as you could do it with, like, say, this tiki torch or any other item. Because I've lost count of the amount of friends that I've had, or the amount of times I've been on friends' islands and been like, oh, you know what, maybe this would look nice over here. Maybe we could do something over there, you know? Or, I brought you this gift. I hope you like it. But before they can even see what it is, they need you to leave so they can look at your gift, and then they can text you about it, or you can come back, and you've wasted like another minute or two through the animation of leaving and the animation then of coming back again to see them having placed it. And then if they don't like it, they either have to wait for you to leave or ask you to leave again. It's not fun. It's the antithesis of fun, and it's a real shame for a game that is so heavily reliant on the community basis and your friends to add to the fun and add to showing off your island and add to being like, hey, look, I just caught this, I popped a balloon earlier and I got this really cool uncraftable item that's that you can't even customize to this color. Like, look at it, it's this like galaxy colored or something, you know, it's like really cool. Come and look at it, but you've like still got it in your backpack, so you either have to put it in the house or you can't even like put it outside or whatever. It's a mess, and it's as I say, it's the thing that stops me from opening my island too often, and it kind of stops me from visiting friends as often as I probably would if it was a lot more open-ended and a lot more free in what you can do together. Like, there's also like other silly niggles, like stuff like if I sit like this close, maybe my friend can't sit on that blue chair. You know, those are extremely little niggles for friends coming over. But like the major stuff of being unable to do anything is a real shame, and I think a real kick in the face for people that play Animal Crossing with friends. As far as I'm concerned, it's the main thing that upsets me. I'm not fond of the tile scheme of like one thing per tile and having to be like facing the camera, and you can't like have things on a diagonal, or say you pop a balloon and it falls in the middle of a bunch of flowers. That if the present that falls in the balloon has no free tile within like the immediate radius of it, it'll just disappear into thin air. I find that annoying, which kind of also ruins the terraforming. I've only done a small bit of terraforming, like proper terraforming, but it's really not much because I can't seem to get what I like in my head out. And I know that you know, like you should work with the tools that the game gives you to make things pretty based on the island, or based on the tools that they give you. But I'm not particularly happy. Like this little pond, I'd kind of like to get rid of more of that dirt off the grass and that to the back, but I don't think I can without like taking the cliffs back a bit further, and it's just a bit awkward to me. A lot of the controls are just super awkward, combined with the millions of text box and that kind of thing you have to go through. Like there's just this huge level of awkwardness to the game that is a real shame. It could be so well polished, it could be so tight, it could be so well controlled, just to make the user experience a bit easier. There's nothing necessarily wrong with a bit of grind, that struggle to get to the top. Like that's important for that sense of satisfaction, you know, sense of accomplishment before I go into full EA mode here. But they could do better, and they should do better, and it seems like a lot of things can be gripes from like old games too, and then you combine it with stuff like if you've got one Switch in a household, that you can only have one island on that, and everyone has to share it that uses that particular Switch, but only one person is designated as the main person on the island that can do like all the tasks for Tom Nook and that, and will get all the recipes. So like everyone, if you've got like a family of 2 or 3 that are playing, like at least 2 or 3 people are going to miss out, except for the head person, and you're kind of depending on them. So it would have been nice if another island could have been put on the Switch, save you having to buy another Switch and another copy of the game, which is also ridiculous in my opinion, but hey, that's that. For what I do like, you know, I love the villagers. I love the aesthetics. The villagers are cute as fuck. I haven't got rid of any of my villagers yet. I've kept them all. I've got Rod, Flo, Gale, Puddles, Joey, Amelia, Harry, Pinky. I forget the name of the purple squirrel boy. I'll go up to his house now. And Julian. Julian's one of my favorites just because he's so cute and cool. The unicorn with like all this like you cross like all this all like the ornaments and that the Celeste gives you recipes for. He's really fucking neat and cute, and I love his whole aspect. Static, yes, that's it. Static, the squirrel with the lightning bolt kind of on him. But yeah, I love the villagers. I love the interactions they have. I love if you talk to them a bit, like, you can have more interactions with them. I don't love that they're all like, oh hey, it's we're bumping into each other a lot today. Maybe you should like stop stalking me and that kind of thing. Like it's I kind of wish there was more to talk about with them. But I do enjoy the aspect of them talking about like your friends coming over and saying like what they're into, like talking about maybe if they had high stats for fossils or that kind of thing, or like what they do on your island, or if they talk a lot, or if they sell a lot, or if they buy a lot and that kind of thing. I've started noticing a lot of that creeping in the last week or so of what friends do on my island, which is it's really neat. It adds to like the life of the island. Like even in the first week, and we were just like, hey, so and so came from the other island and their nickname is this. You know, that was really fucking neat to see and hear them like react out to what like other people had chosen. I mean, like I know it was easy to like it's like they repeated it so often it became like almost I became nonplussed towards like them being like, oh hey, this this friend selected this and this words as their title on their passport, you know. But now that it's branching out into more or less other statistics based stuff, that's pretty cool. And then like having the villagers fight with each other, sometimes they want to leave, but you convince them to stay and they're like, oh, I never really wanted to leave anyway, I'm so glad you want me to stay. And that kind of thing, you know, they're really cute. I love the differences in personalities. I love the grumpy ones. I love the hyperactive ones almost. I love the posh ones, you know. Flo is such a dear. I remember like whenever Flo was the very first villager I had that would start singing in the middle of the street and that. I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. It, like warmed my heart. And she's always wearing this like hat that I gave her in week 1. And it's so cute, and it's so wholesome. It just like even now it's just like giving me kind of warm, tingly feelings just because it's so cute, and that's like such a huge pull for the game. And I think it works well in these times, and I'm glad that I can enjoy that aspect of the game. The general aesthetics of the island are cool. Obviously, I wish items were a bit more interactable, like that pool table and that you could do something with it, like. Maybe not play a game of pool, obviously, because that would be a lot and take away from the aesthetics-based thing of Animal Crossing, but I just wish that it was a bit more interactive in some fashion. I don't exactly know what, but I wish there were a lot of things that were a bit more interactive, or that you could, like say that teacup ride over there at the fairground area, that I could ride that or something, make that interactive. But personal gripes, no, I'm not too upset about it being all aesthetics based, you know. It's nice to create something aesthetics based, and I like all my clothes. I like the wand outfits I've been able to create. I think they nail the aesthetics pretty well. I mean, I feel like I've talked for a long time now and been mostly detrimental to it and maybe not talking about too much of the pros, but like that's the thing though, like that's what I love about it. I love those cute little things, and I just love the ability to do what you want whenever the sandbox is truly open, and check in on the game every day or whatever, and go and catch some fish, or go and do a mystery tour, or like maybe change the aesthetics for a certain part of the island to a current mood or whatever. I'm gonna guess that was like a good fish, seeing as I always seem to be late on pressing the button to catch it. But yeah, like, you know, you change certain parts of the islands around depending on your mood, and have like items stored away to change the island drastically and change the whole mood of the island. I'm looking forward to changing the island and dressing up for Halloween and that kind of thing. You know, I think it's probably the best aesthetics-based video game I've played. I haven't even delved into like the custom image design and that for clothes or for the ground and wallpapers and that. So there's so much there that there is a whole lot of depth there that I haven't even tapped yet, even after like 300 hours into the game and getting my 5-star island. So it is perfect in the sense of allowing you to do all that stuff, and once the grind is done to get there, like, you can really create your own little dream paradise and show it off to your friends and just be really happy working on it and improving it. It's such a nice game for that, and I salute Nintendo for that, and I think it's the main draw for me. It probably won't keep me playing as much once the community aspect dies down, and once, say, friends start getting tired of it. I've noticed friends are dropping off and playing less and less, which is understandable. Once you get like KK, once you reach 3 stars and that, maybe some people don't want to push for 5 stars. Maybe some people aren't bothered about collecting like all the animals or getting all Celeste recipes or wishing on shooting stars and that kind of thing. Which is fine. I worry about like how what if I can't do the turnip stock market anymore, if I'm just doing it by myself. Like, that might mean I only play the stock market once a month, which will detract from the amount of time that I'm willing to come and spend bells and visit the shops and that, in which case I'll only be coming to fish every now and then. So having that might be a problem in the long term, but also the recent update of adding the hedge stuff and red and turning it into a live service game for stuff that I understand was kind of there, always accessible from the beginning, or you could work towards it from the beginning in the older Animal Crossings, but now being locked behind like a title update and being turned into like a live update service game, which kind of makes sense for it being a game where you pop back in every now and then. At least might keep things going a bit longer outside of just being here to improve the look of the aesthetics and that kind of thing. So I suppose we'll see. That is my main worry, I guess, for the future. But for someone that's already got 300 hours out of a game, I probably couldn't complain too much. Only about 10 to 15 of those were really bad, with as far as that fish catching stuff and bug catching stuff that I mentioned before at the end of March goes. Everything else has been pretty solid, enough to keep me happy. Terrible with the slingshot. I guess let's see what this is and leave it at that. But yeah, I figured that this, this video's gone up quite a bit longer than I thought it would. So, if you enjoyed it, I appreciate you enjoying me ramble on for a long time about Animal Crossing, and I hope you're enjoying the game as much as myself. If you want to comment on what you feel about the game, please do so below, or give me a like, give me a subscribe. I guess I might pop in a couple of months with another update on my island and that kind of thing, now that I've got this kind of venting my thoughts out of the way. And getting those noob impressions out of the way. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying the game. Despite all those heavy niggles, it's a game that very much deserves to be enjoyed. All around. Vivid leggings. Okay, that's neat. But yeah, so I probably should have done more of a script for it, but I had like a little bit of liner notes and wanted to talk through a lot of stuff, so I think I got through most of that. I ended up talking about the bad parts of the game, I think a bit too much, but hey, overall I still enjoy it, and I hopefully the parts that I love came across, that I love them stronger than I hate most of the other stuff other than the multiplayer madness and annoyances. So yeah, thank you for watching. Really good time with my first time at Animal Crossing. Long may it continue.